Now let's work on the styling for the images preview grid. So right here we have defined the class names here, and I want to add another class name. So this class name is going to be used right here to define the styling for this wrapping div. So for example, if I have, I'm going to remove first of all this one. So if I have 2 images, I'm going to apply like the styling when I have 2 images. If I have 3 images, I'm going to apply this styling to the wrapping div that controls how these div gonna contain the images. Okay, that's the whole idea. So what we can do is I'm just gonna go here. First of all, let me close this one, and I can go here, and first of all I need to get the grid class name based on the number of images. So for example, I can go const and I can call this grid and then class name, and then for this one class, let me make this uppercase, which is needing a function right now. So let's call it get grid class name, and this one only needs the length. Okay, so the length of the images that we have, so we need to pass that, which is the images length we already got. We can take this function right here and we can create it in the utils. So I'm just gonna go right here to the utils, and I can close this one, and I can go here and helper function to get grid class names depending on length. All right, and then we can go const, and then we can define the function like this, and simply this function is going to take the images length, or we can just simply pass the length right here. The type of it is going to be a number, of course, so number, and then simply the function, all it does is just going to have a switch a case. Okay, so switch right here. So depending on the length of the right here the images, we can define the class name. So for example, if the case was 2, so for example if the length of the image is 2, the class name it's gonna be, so I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna return. So I'm just gonna, I want to keep everything organized, I'm gonna go here and then return, and the class name is gonna be grid column 2. Very simple. So if I have 2 images, the class name is gonna be grid column 2, which is the same thing we had before. All right, so let me import this one, or actually didn't export this probably. So right here const, I need to export, so export like this, so export, and simply now I can get that like this. So as you can see right now, right here before we had the grid columns 2 because we had 2 images, and now we need to control it using this function. So this is the case for 2, we need the case for 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so right here for the case 3, when we have 3, we're gonna have so columns still, and then we'll also add 2 rows, so grid, and then we have to specify the rows now, so grid rows, and it's gonna be 2 like this. Now we're gonna go to the case when it's 4, and when it's 4 we're just gonna have the columns 2, and then it's the same thing, and then for the rows we're gonna have 1, so grid rows, and then 1, and then for the case when it's 5, I'm gonna have the grid columns to be still 2, and then for the rows I want to have 6, so grid and then rows 6. Okay, and then for the last case which is 6, I just want to make sure that the grid columns 2 is applied, because it's gonna have 2, 2, 2 like this. So just simply 2 columns, and then like the rows are gonna be 3. Okay, so we just can keep it this way, and that's all for it. The other one is gonna be defining by the styles of the singular image. And then I'm gonna go right here, I'm gonna add the default. So when this is nothing, I'm just gonna make sure that it returns right here an empty string. Okay, this, they forgot this here, so now it's cool. And this is it for the function. All we have to do right now is just get the class name right now and just apply it also with the class name. So after the grid and everything, I can just go right here and apply also this class name, which is going to be dynamic depending of the number of images that we have. Also right here for these class names that I have here, I want to also add another one. So I'm going to go here, I'm just going to have backticks, and I'm going to show you why. So let's say for example I'm applying grid 3. All right, I'm gonna have like 3 images inside, that's me. So for the first image, I'm gonna have a class name for each of one. So for the first one is gonna be a grid 3. Okay, and then simply we're just gonna call this image, and then like for example the first image, and then the second image of the grid 3, and then 4 for example. This is how I'm gonna name them. So that's why I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna add the class name grid and then underscore, and we need to add the images length right here. So just the images length, which is the images length we have defined, and then simply we need the underscore now, and then image, and then also underscore, and then we have to specify the position of the image. So for the example, the first image is gonna be the index, but because it starts from 0, I don't want to start from 0, I want my naming to start with 1. So for example, it's gonna be +1 here, and that's gonna just simply always start it with 1. So for example, the class name could be grid and then 3 and then image 1, and that's gonna be the styling for the image 1 inside the grid 3, and then if it's 2, it's gonna be the styling of image 2 in the grid 3. Okay, that's how you look at it, because we need to now copy the styling. So I'm just gonna go and back right here to my styling in the CSS. So I'm gonna go back to my layout.css here, and I can just simply go down here, and then under I'm just gonna add some styling. So this is the product images preview dashboard. So for example, as I told you, this is the grid 3 image 1. So this is the styling for it. This is the styling for the second image, and this is for the third image. If I have 5, as you can see, this is the first image, second image, third image, fourth image, and then the fifth image, and then the last one for 6 we don't need it, because as I told you, it's gonna be just simply a grid of 2 that we've defined in the uses right here, grid columns. So we're gonna have 2 columns, and it's gonna be just 3 here, 3 here, and it's not gonna have any issues. So this is the way how you define that. So now let's actually try this and test this and see how it looks. So let me zoom in a little bit here. Now let me upload some images. Let me refresh first of all, and now let me try to upload. So I click upload. Let me upload the one image first, so let's see how everything looks one by one. So this is the first image. Normally this is how it looks. Okay, I'm just a bit zoomed in, so normally how it looks. Now let me upload the second image. So browse, and then upload the second image. Now done. As you can see, now I have 2 images, so I'm gonna have a grid that has one next to one, so 2 columns. Okay, now let me add the third one. So I'm just gonna go and add the third one. For example, I'm gonna add this one, and I'm gonna click done here, and as you can see, now we're gonna have 1 on the left side right here and 2 on the right side, 1 under 1. So that is very cool. Now let's see if I have 4. So I'm just gonna go and add the fourth one. Okay, just mind the images. As you can see, this is how it's gonna look. Now let's go with the fifth one, and let's see. So again, you choose any random image, it doesn't matter. Now we're just testing. As you can see, we're gonna have 2 on the left and then 3 on the right, which looks fantastic. Now the last one is just gonna be simply what I told you, just 2 columns. So as you can see, now we have the 2 columns, but I have only 4 rows. Well, it's actually 6, but because we have a specific height right here, which is 800, it only shows these 2. So we have to make sure we go back to our preview components, and we make sure when we have 6 images, I'm gonna make each image like a little bit like shorter in the height. Okay, because now it's going to be able to show us 3. And what I mean by this, because you have 300, I'm just going to divide it by 3, which is going to be 266, which is going to be the third of the height that we have right now, and that's going to be showing us the 3 images right there. 266 multiplied by 3, which is 800. That's how you do it. So I'm just going to go back, and we can go back right now for the class name. We defined this, but we can also add another test right here, which is gonna apply the class name that I'm gonna add right now. Let me just make sure. Yeah, the class name is gonna be the height, and the height right here is gonna be 266.6 is exactly, so the third exactly, and this simply is gonna be applied with the images dot length right here is equal to 6. Okay, like that. Now if I go back, I will be able to see all these 6 of them right here. So this is very cool. Okay, you can style them the way you want to. You're not obligated to use it this way. You can choose any grid, choose any styling, add any types of borders. Everything is just simply up to you. And this way, this is how you define this styling right here. And this looks amazing till now. Okay, so now let's actually continue with the rest.